Westworld on HBO. It premiered a couple of Sundays ago. Season 2 did. And for those who tuned into episode 2 last night, introduced to the role of Major Craddock, played by our friend Jonathan Tucker here on The Rich Eisen Show. How you been, brother?
I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Happily married, get to live in Los Angeles, make a living doing what I love to do. I bust my chops, but I end up on a nice couch down here in El Segundo, California.
Look at you, man.
Pretty good.
So the Rich Eisen Show, I was waiting. That's like
top of the heap.
5. No, I mean that was
fourth on the list.
Kind of like list 5 or 6.
Yeah, you come after my
Faith family.
Yeah, exactly. And Rich Eisen. That could be the new tagline for this show. Faith, family, and Rich Eisen.
Why are you texting me a photograph of Stephon Gilmore breaking up a pass in the AFC Championship game from the green
I'm sure
room?
like all these guys, everybody I know has got lots of different like sports text threads.
Yeah.
And we've got the wicked effing pissa text thread from all my boys back in Charlestown and Boston.
You want in on that, right?
How can I get in on this thread?
So I was going through some stuff. I was trying to find something. I saw the photo and I was like, God, that was a great memory for me. I like vividly remember that moment. I think it's exemplary of New England sports.
Which is what, taking a Buffalo Bill and winning with them? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's like finding opportunities where other people don't see them. I think it's putting in the sweat equity and having it pay off when you don't know.
Equity.
I think that's New England. That's certainly New England football, and it's definitely Boston sports. So I saw the photo, and I just wanted to say, hey, here was a wonderful picture. You should take a look at that and know where I come from and know what we do.
Have you never heard of sweat equity before?
No, that's a good one.
I've heard that. That's a football term. I know. Is that also an MMA term? Have you
I think
picked
that's a general term.
Okay, sweat equity is something that I've heard Irvin use it all the time. Michael Irvin uses that phrase all the time.
Got to memorize your lines.
Put
when you come and you play.
Put in your sweat equity.
Oh. Yeah.
Are you nervous about the sweat equity factor for the Patriots moving forward?
You know, I was thinking about when I was coming here. It's because I am such a passionate football fan.
Yes.
I love watching football. I'm so jealous when I see you guys out there on draft day. That's what I was asking in the green room. I was like, Rich, you guys get to go to all these amazing things. Do you still find a bit of magic here and there?
Damn straight I do.
And that was the answer, which made me feel much better about the world. Because sports are so exciting. Football to me is one of the great sports, and I love the Patriots. I do also start to feel like I'm interested in like learning more about other teams now that we have so many championships. Like I love being a Patriots fan. I'm always going to be supportive, but I'm excited to see what Jimmy Garoppolo is going to do in San Francisco.
Sure. Okay.
I think that's really great.
Okay.
I got a few buddies in Cleveland. I want them to have, love to see that team have, you're saying 8-8.
Look at you sharing the wealth.
I'm happy to share.
Look at you.
Yeah, I don't want to
do
do that. I'm not happy to share. I want us to always win.
We founded the country. We're the cradle of the revolution. We're the beacon of democracy, the Athens of America, and we spread it through manifest destiny, man. We let America have what we created, and I think that in the sports world we can do the same thing.
You're getting a standing ovation.
Look at the Bruins.
Oh my
we're
what about them?
For that division? Look at what's happening with the Red Sox right now, 16-2. I mean, it's really exciting. It's exciting. It's exciting to be a New England sports fan, and I want other people to have some fun too.
Look at you.
I don't want anyone else to have fun,
except for the Yankees.
That's where we differ.
See, no. Look, the Boston sports fan is not happy unless they're not happy, though. Would you not agree with that?
I do partially. I don't know if you guys are you friendly with Gary Vaynerchuk at all?
Of course, I just saw him at the draft.
He's the best, right? Guy's amazing, and he talks about as soon as the Giants won, or as soon as the Yankees won a championship, he's like he had to find the team that made him unhappy.
He's a Jets guy. He wants to own the Jets.
Of course, and of course, the easiest way to own the Jets is to not fly on private jets. You fly commercially, or you can buy the actual jets. He wants to buy the team, not the plane. That's what he always talks about, which I think is a great life lesson. But I love the idea that he's like out there rooting for the team that doesn't win. And I love beating the Jets and helping him preserve his Jets affinity.
1,000%.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm happy to look at some other teams right now.
You guys are
it's brutal out
assholes.
Here. It's brutal out here.
Oh my goodness.
We got to shovel snow.
I only want Jimmy G to do well because
I really do. I'm really excited about him
because he should be the QB in waiting in New England.
Well, the QB in waiting is going to have to come, and at some point, Tom Brady's not walking through that door, to use a Boston sports vernacular. And who is that? It's not Brian Hoyer, and Danny Etling is going to have to start coming up from his LSU roots, the 7th rounder right now. Who's that going to be?
I mean,
what do you got?
I have no idea.
It's got to concern you. It's got to make you nervous.
He's still in college now, apparently. I mean, with all due respect to Danny Etling, it's not going to be him.
Who knows? Brady went from 199 to the next one. By the way, we had a great Mariucci was on our show last Friday on our radio-only show and just giving him grief about drafting Giovanni Carmazzi over Tom Brady. It's just it's one of those draft moments. And that's another thing about the draft that I love too. We don't know right now what just happened over the weekend.
Right.
That could be the next moment like that. That's part of just football fandom.
Yeah, and I love like how these players respond to what number they might be, what their expectations were versus what actually ends up happening. When 9 teams ahead of you pick somebody, or nine teams pick somebody else ahead of you, and your response is, well, nine teams made a mistake. I mean, that's a sort of like mental conditioning when you look at like what people talk about in terms of sports psychology. You watch what's his name show here on AT&T. Is it Undeniable?
Yeah.
I mean, that Joe Buck show is absolutely magnificent. It's a great show because they talk about how do you deal with not being, selected first, second, third, fourth.
There's always an amazing story like that. I want to take a 60-second break, come back, talk some Westworld, and I know you're a deep, big-time MMA fan based on your work right here on Audience, on the special show Kingdom. And I'm also, Rockman, you wanted me to do this, I'll do this. The 2 places that I'm hearing the NFL draft is going next.
Yes, I do want to hear this.
And maybe you guys can influence the vote. There's 2 places that the NFL, I think it's down to 2 spots where the next NFL draft is going to be. Jonathan Tucker is here, so should you, and we'll take your phone calls before the show is done at 844-204-RICH. Back with Westworld's Jonathan Tucker in 60 seconds. All right, we're back here with Jonathan Tucker, at Jonathan M. Tucker on Twitter. I follow him. You should too. Westworld. Of course, I've got sports on the brain. It's not Westwood, although that would be an interesting show, wouldn't it be? If
good spinoff.
Well, just that you would be able to go into some sort of fantasy world where you become a basketball player or something like that.
You throw on the virtual reality glasses.
UCLA football. Josh Rosen could be a star of Westwood.
That's exactly right. I'd watch the show.
You just made a Josh Rosen reference. At any rate, Westworld on HBO, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. When you get an offer to say, hey, how'd you like to join Westworld? What is that like for you, brother?
That's thrilling. I mean, it's the quality of storytelling led really by this magical married pair, Jonah Nolan and his wife, Lisa Joy. I mean, it's just thrilling. You watch these shows, you're a fan of these shows,
right?
You're a fan of these storytellers, and when they ask you to come and collaborate, it's very gratifying. I don't know how else to say, it's just very gratifying.
And so, I mean, when you're reading, how many times do you have to read the script to understand what the hell is going on? It's very dense.
Usually about 90 seconds because they only send you your stuff. Everything else is blacked out, so you're reading like a CIA dossier.
It's
all redacted.
Westworld scripts are redacted?
Yeah, you get just your stuff. You have no idea. So what's really fun is you go to the premiere and you're out there on the red carpet and you're taking all these photos and it's like, oh, so Rich, you're an actor. Are you on the show? I am. Oh, fantastic. What episodes are you in? I'm not sure. I think 4 and 5, but I don't know. Oh, great. What world? I don't know. So there's a lot of mystery. So I'm watching the show with the same sense of excitement and curiosity as you guys are.
Well, we were genuinely excited to see you last night because, in all honesty, to continue this, we were under the impression that you were coming on the show, but we might not be able to talk about the fact that you were on.
Sure, yeah, because you wouldn't know if I'm going to be up in the episode, and they're fanatical.
Right.
This is that clip is the first clip that I've seen outside of the actual show itself. Because they just don't release photos.
So you're DVRing or watching this live just like everybody else to find out what the hell is going on.
It's very democratic. I like it.
Wow.
And I will tell you, too, in terms of like the environment that we're in with having a conversation about diversity in the entertainment business, this is one of the most diverse sets, and not just the cast, but the crew. From the writer's room down. And it really, I feel like it does strengthen the storytelling and the creative process that we have there. All these different perspectives, different backgrounds coming together. You get a richer, stronger story, and particularly with the way in which Westworld toggles between different worlds and also different times. It's helpful to have that team really keeping it all together. I was so impressed by that.
Well, we're excited to have Jeffrey Wright from the show here on Wednesday. I've known James Marsden for a while. He's I think he's in like 10 fantasy leagues. It's insane how many football fantasy leagues.
I didn't talk to him about that. He's one of the funniest people I've ever spent time around. I mean, he is a riot I mean, he is so funny.
So
and
you talk fantasy football with him?
I haven't. No, I haven't. I wish I had.
Not. Yeah, I mean, he's nuts about that. Jonathan Tucker here on the Rich Eisen Show, and you know, we first met through Kingdom when you were coming here a few years ago to promote that. When I saw Conor McGregor throw a dolly at a bus, I thought that would have been something ripped straight from Kingdom with Jay Kalina. It would have absolutely gone full Conor McGregor.
My wild character, Jay Kalina on Kingdom.
Absolutely. I thought to myself, that's straight.
Yeah, and I could say, I was so disappointed. I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan. I've gotten to meet him. I've been to 2 or 3 of his fights, including the Mayweather fight. I've trained at his gym in Dublin. I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan. And what he's done for the sport has been remarkable. And he's a really good dude. So I don't know exactly what happened that evening in Madison Square Garden. Well, it was terrible for a lot of those fighters.
Well, some think it was totally staged.
Right. Well, I know as factually as I know, the UFC was not happy about this, top down. And Dana runs a really tight ship, and he's a really transparent human being. I've spoken with him about lots of subjects, and I've been deeply impressed by his character. Truly. I mean, truly he is. He gives it to you like he sees it and feels it. And it didn't sound like he was pleased with this antic. I will say Conor McGregor did set up maybe one of the biggest, the highest revenue fights that we'll ever see in the UFC with Khabib. I mean, it'll be Conor McGregor versus Russia. And that is something I would pay $199 to see on pay-per-view.
Against the entire
that's how do you not sell that? That's what you sell.
Rocky IV. I can see the posters now.
And if the security...
Well, that's why everybody thinks that it was staged.
Well, I mean, I don't think Conor McGregor's brilliant. I mean, he's just top to bottom. He's not just one of the best, fighters and talkers out there. But from the clothing that he wears to his social media handling, the way he's set up fights, the way he's run his business has been. I mean, it's been brilliant. But I think that he'll end up having set up one of the greatest UFC fights in the history of that league, and certainly the biggest in MMA.
What did you learn about MMA fighters doing?
Oh my God, we're not here long enough. I started thinking that MMA and the UFC was the worst thing for America, that it was a terrible sport. It was cockfighting for human beings.
Because you love boxing so much?
I like boxing, sure. Okay. Yeah, I would always be like, I'm the boxing guy. These people you meet at a dinner party, it's like, well, I don't like MMA. I like boxing. I'm a purist.
Right.
And now, but I realized I just didn't know. I didn't know what I was talking about. The sacrifice these guys give up, their understanding of martial arts. It's really martial arts. You're combining Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Greco-Roman wrestling and boxing and Muay Thai kickboxing.
That's the first M of the MA.
Yeah, it's mixed martial arts. So these are coming out of the tradition of where you want to send your son and daughter to go and learn about respect and humility and self-defense. And that's okay in a dojo of karate, but apparently in a cage, it's disgusting and blood sport. And I just fundamentally have learned that's not true, and my perspective was wrong.
Well, I think you could speak to this too, Chris, is that the number of guests that we've had from the MMA fighters turned media members or just fighters that we've had, they've all been spectacular guests with just
tremendous,
great heads on their shoulders and hearts of champions.
Gosh,
I mean, all of them, every last one of them.
Every single one.
And kind and gentle. They're the kind of people we have a little guest room in our house, and I tend to lend it out frequently. You guys are all welcome to come over.
The Cormier Corner? Is that
the Cormier Corner? And my wife has basically said the only people I really enjoy having at our house now in terms of their manners and the way in which they take care of everything are fighters. They're everything's clean. They leave a little note. They want to open the door for her. They want to cook food, bring stuff. They're the most generous, kind people. And so I guess this is my advertisement for house guest. Fighters make great house guests is what I want to ultimately say. I've come to learn so much about the sport and the people behind who are part of it, and I have been nothing but impressed over and over and over again.
Jonathan Tucker here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, you want the information that I had? You've been after me the whole show?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
The NFL draft was just in Dallas after being in Philadelphia.
Chicago.
Where is it going next?
Well, it's now Super Bowl bidding.
Right.
Vegas is in the mix. We had Brent Musburger on a couple weeks ago saying that Fremont Street would be the spot for
Vegas
it.
in the mix for next year?
Well, this is what. Yes, these have all been bidding. Canton, Ohio, but I don't think it's going to go to Canton until they've totally remodeled the whole area.
Right.
They're still constructing the new facilities there and new hotel there. Los Angeles is in the mix, but I don't think they're going to have it until there's the new stadium for everyone to see, as opposed to a hole in the ground. So that leaves 2 spots that are in this spot: Kansas City and Tennessee.
Oh, I honeymooned in Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Woo. All right.
The sweet grass of Nashville.
I think that's.
Oh yeah.
From what I heard, a lot of the talk, that's the front runner. Right
I love both
for
those
next
cities.
year.
I spent time in both those cities. Great barbecue there in Kansas City. Great barbecue in Nashville, Tennessee.
Both spots.
I honeymooned in Tennessee, so I gotta say I would vote for there.
Now,
What about location?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to where it would be, but all I know is that when I went to Nashville the last time, I fancy myself a really good karaoke singer. Okay, really, really good.
I can see
An
that.
outstanding karaoke singer. I mean, I'll tear a spot down with Sinatra tomorrow.
Hashtag
5 minutes
humble
from-
host.
Is that your song? Is that who you see? You're a
That's
Sinatra
Live
guy?
by Sinatra. I will destroy any place. Give
That's
me a
awesome.
microphone and it's over.
That's really great.
These
to
guys
hear.
will they will testify to that. They've seen it
I will.
multiple times. Like they're already rolling their eyes
multiple
over that.
times.
Okay, so I put my
He
name.
will rip the mic away from old people.
Yes,
That
I've
is,
seen that
by
too.
the way, a scurrilous rumor that is unfounded.
We've heard it.
Steve Hutchinson has been spreading that rumor, and it's false. Hashtag fake news. Stop it. The reason why I bring this up is this. Last time was a Thursday night game in Nashville. We show it Wednesday night, and I'm going out there with a friend of mine. It was Kara Henderson Sneed, who also likes doing karaoke. We put our names in. We're automatically 10th on the list. I'm like, damn, we got to wait. And then we're thinking, well, I guess we'll wait, or we might just leave. And then the next person after the next person after the next one, it was as if American Idol had just busted out. One person was
that's
more
awesome.
talented than the
The
next.
stakes were rising with every new song.
It was with every. It was people were handing out their CDs to people when they're coming off a stage. I'm like, what
How'd
the
you
hell?
do?
They got? I crushed it.
You crushed it.
I did.
That's what you did because you're a winner, Rick.
Because Sinatra's universal.
You're a winner.
To the point where I need to spread the winning.
news.
I need to spread the winning.
There you go.
Just like you.
Spread the news. Spread the winning.
But I've
Rich
never
Eisen,
seen anything
Faith
like it.
family, Rich Eisen.
That's right. That's it. Good to see you,
Thank
Jonathan
you for having
Tucker.
me back here, man. I really do
you are
appreciate
the
it.
man.
It's a
Jonathan
thrill.
Tucker, check out Westworld every Sunday night on HBO. He has no idea when he's going to be on or what's going to happen.
What's going to happen? but you're going to love it.
But here's definitely not what's redacted. It's Sunday night at 9 Eastern time. Period.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.